Hello, it's Friday, September 23rd, 2016, and as of this recording, I'm still depressed, but I'm not dead. Well, here I am again. It's been a little bit since my last show. A little story about that, I guess. When I finished editing and I posted the last show, I don't know, it was probably 10, 15 minutes after that, I had the idea for the next show. I was kind of bouncing off the walls thinking, okay, this is going to be good. I have this idea. I need to get it out. I need to get it down. And I was ready. And I actually couldn't wait. I was thinking of recording early. Nora was out of town and she was coming back the next day. I thought, I can do this Thursday. Then I'll go pick her up at the airport. But as is common with most people, life happened. And then a little bit more life happened and a little bit more life. And I didn't get the chance that Thursday. That Friday, I didn't get a chance, and then the weekend, things going on with Nora and whatnot. So I didn't get to it. And today I was at the gym, and I thought, okay, I'll get home, and the kids will be back, 45 minutes to an hour after I get home. It's time to get that show recorded. And I sat down and I opened up my Google Docs, got ready to kind of type up what I wanted to talk about, and I'll be damned if I can remember what that idea was. I tried rethinking about what I had done, what maybe triggered me, what made me think, hey, I got to get this done, I want to do this, and nope, that idea just is popped right away as easy as it popped in. So, apologies to anyone listening that, I had the podcast idea to end all podcasts and, it's gone. So maybe next week, we'll see. Just to catch you up a little bit more with what's going on, I am still trying to be more fit and lose weight. I know some of you have been just dying to find out how my progress is going. Well, here's the update. Officially, I am down 13 pounds in just over the past 4.5 weeks, which is pretty good. It's quite good, I guess. It's just about 3 pounds a week, which is maybe a little aggressive. But early on I was shedding weight a little faster early on in the dieting. And now, I'm going to the gym 3-4 times a week. And I want to say that the weight loss has slowed down because I am building all these beautiful muscles while trying to lose weight. Yeah, that in my fantasy world, it's my muscles are getting bigger as I'm losing fat. And so that tempers the weight loss a little bit. It sounds good in my head, and that's my story. I am still running. My knee is not swollen like it was at all. It still hurts a bit. And in fact, today after running, it hurt a little bit more than the other day. And I want to tell you about that. But what's today? Today's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. The show will be going out. So Tuesday, I went to the gym and I had it in my head that I wanted to eat pizza Tuesday night, right? Nora's gone again for a couple days. Kids are going to be at their dad's. Let's relive some of the glory days and get some nice cold diet soda and some pizza and sit down, watch some TV and just enjoy. But I didn't want to ruin my diet. I didn't want to blow my diet, which maybe isn't the best thinking, right? I mean, if you fall off the wagon for a day, okay, just pick yourself up and go, right? It's weight loss is a marathon. It's not a sprint, and any one day is not specifically important. It's the overall picture. But I decided I wanted to bank those calories, so I hopped on the treadmill, and I wanted to see how I could do. And lo and behold, I did 7 miles on the treadmill, just over 71 minutes. So it's a pretty good pace. But I was pretty impressed with 7. I don't know if I could have gone any farther. I kind of loosely had it in my head. I wanted to try to get to 7. I don't have a specific reason, but 7 sounded good. and it's clearly more than anything I've run since I've been in Minnesota. So woohoo for me. And in general, I'm trying to run just a little bit each time I'm at the gym, and occasionally in between gym days. So I try to do about 3 to 4 miles on the treadmill when I'm there. And I'm pretty well doing under 10-minute miles there. So that's encouraging, and it's still not where I was before, but still thinking that when I did my half marathon long time ago, 2 years ago now, I was about 35 to 40 pounds lighter. So I'm working on trying to cut myself some slack. It's not working so well. I still don't enjoy the fact that I can't get back to my speed and pace that I had then. And I'm trying to balance that with a little bit of perspective. So yeah, a long way to go to be where I was before if I'm going to get there, but at least I'm going and I'm headed in that way. Oh, and before I get going on what I've pieced together for a show idea here, I just want to remind you how you can get a hold of me. You can find me on email at jamoalki@gmail.com, Twitter at jamoalki, facebook.com/jamoalki, and the ever-struggling blog, www.jamoalki.info. That's JAMOALKI. Look me up, send me a message, tell me what's going on with you. You guys hear a lot about me, and I'd love to hear some more from you guys. That's it, and let's get going. So, an exciting thing happened just over a week and a half ago, just before I posted the last show. I reached a arbitrary round number, but I surpassed the 1,000 download mark. As much as I'd like to say that's 1,000 per show, no, that's 1,000 total. And with 22 shows, that's 45 downloads a show, which is really pretty amazing to me that the show is downloaded that many times. I don't know. Nora asked me, how many of those are listened to, because she says I download them, but I'm still kind of backed up, and I said, I have no idea. Maybe nobody, maybe somebody. All I can track is what is downloaded, and I'm just really amazed every time I put a show up that I go back and look, and 20 downloads this day, 10 downloads the next day, whatever. So thank you guys. I feel like I don't say thank you enough, and when I do, I don't feel like it is enough to express how grateful I am that y'all listen to the show. But anyway, so I had maybe I talked about this last week, I don't know, but Nora and I had decided that Nora agreed that when I got over 1,000 downloads, I would share my podcast with my Facebook family, which in essence is my family and some friends, probably more of Nora's friends now than my friends. So I did. I put a big post up explaining a little bit about why I was doing the show, what it's about. Hey, you guys, if you're interested in listening here, you can go to the website and find some links, but I'm not asking you guys to listen. I'm just kind of putting out there that I'm sharing, kind of another way to kind of hold me accountable for what I'm doing. Not so much of, hey, wow, I can't believe it, you're so cool, look what you did, podcast, oh my gosh, oh, you're so brave, all that stuff. And those things are nice, and I do appreciate them. But again, that's not why I did it. It's kind of something I felt like was important for my journey of getting back to well. And I did get a little bit of feedback. Nora's mom messaged me, and she's got real hearing problems and wanted to apologize that she wouldn't be listening, and actually was worried that I would be offended if she didn't listen. And I replied back, no, that's not it at all. You're adorable, I love you, and just keep being wonderful. And so it was nice of her she reached out right that same day. My old high school friend, Niles, hey Niles, who I haven't really talked to in many years. We've had a couple shots on Facebook where we're message back and forth for a day or two, and then it would fall off. But he messaged me, and he said he binge listened to all my shows, which absolutely floored me. That someone would first of all want to do that, and just that someone did do it. He gave me some really positive kind of feedback, and the kind of I'm proud of you, I love you, all that, and that was really nice. And we chatted quite a bit, and actually I got to send him a message today or tomorrow. It's well documented I'm a poor communicator. So, hey, Niles, hey, I'll message you later. Just a little bit of background for those of you who don't know. Niles is a guy I met in high school, and he was actually my brother's friend for a little bit. And then we became just better friends. We hung out a bit. After high school, we actually took a road trip, drove around the country in my little white 4-door Escort hatchback. It was a good time. Maybe I get into that another day. We ended up going to the same college for a good while, and I guess common story. After college, we kind of separated. Didn't see him so much, and then he ended up moving away, if I believe. He got married, I got married, I had kids, he had kids. And blah blah blah. Typical. Hey, write me a story kind of story. But yeah, so we're back. We're friends, and it's I got to tell you, it's a little kind of on the surface, it's kind of imposing to me to kind of get back into a friendship stance, more so because it's generated from this. And yeah, I don't know. I guess it's one of the things I should have seen coming from starting this podcast, and then slowly kind of announcing it out and out to different people. But I guess I didn't, and I'm got to work on that, and it's good for me. I'm glad that we've communicated, and that we get an opportunity. Hopefully, he's back in Michigan now. And funny little story about that, I'll share another day maybe. But he's not too far from my folks, and I'm heading back to Michigan middle of October to see the girls, hang out for 5 days, 6 days. So hopefully I can work something out and get to see Niles and his wife and 1 kid, 2 kids. I don't know, at least one I know. So yeah, so hooray for the power of podcasts and Facebook, I guess. Also, my brother-in-law he's gotten a hold of me. He's listened. He said he's about halfway through, and he's listened quite a bit. And interesting, he's a little like me in that he doesn't like small talk. He sent me an email. He said, I don't like small talk. I don't really like basketball. So maybe me listening to the podcast is a better way to get to know you, and kind of gets us away from the awkward silences if we were hanging out together. So awesome. He sent me a tweet first off. He said he's been listening. He said, quote, "So far I've laughed out loud many times, disagreed with you a few times, and in general I am impressed," which it means a lot to me to hear that from him. Once I get his permission, I'll give you all his name, but I haven't asked him that yet. But he's a guy who's impressed me, and he's done quite a few things, and it feels good to hear him say that. He sent me an email as well, a little bit more in depth, talking about what he thought about the show. At first and foremost, he's offered to work on the website when and if he has time, which, oh my gosh, yes. I would love for my website to be something better. I don't know. I guess it would just be better if I used it more often. But if he's offering to take a look at it, I am more than willing to see what he can do. So look for that someday on the horizon. One of the things he mentioned in the email was how he acknowledges that, or he recognizes that lots and lots of people, he may even said most people or everybody, but in general, lots of people have the same kind of self-doubt and feeling like I'm lazy experiences. Is that he's trying to looking for the connection on how those kind of thoughts go from having those thoughts to suicide. And I guess that it's interesting. I guess maybe I haven't, well, I'm sure I haven't explained everything, and that's part of my journey here, right? And maybe your journey listening. But I thought I'd maybe talk about that just a little bit today, and we'll see. Maybe we'll get to a half hour, but who knows? So, I think, and I don't want to put words into his mouth, but I think what he's thinking of is people have these bouts of self-doubt, right? Which is, I agree, totally understandable, right? You're, leaving to get a new job. You're having your first baby. You're having a second baby, or, you just kind of out of the blue on a Thursday afternoon, like, holy crap, what am I doing with my life? What oh my gosh, is this? Whoa, hey. And I think what's different with the way I see myself and the way that as I more and more understand more folks who have clinical depression, is that it's not really about those things. It's not really like having a fit of self-doubt on a random Sunday afternoon when the Vikings lose their football game. It's more so, it's kind of the lens through which I see the world and myself, right? Things don't happen. I don't do things ever that I feel good about, and not even good about. Everything I do is not worthy. And even kind of the most well thought up idea, the most well-planned maybe experience with, a friend or my girls or whatever, it never is good enough. It never is not even good enough. It never feels like it's quality. It never feels like it was worthwhile having done it. And, this goes from little things to big things. Like I said, I mean, running my half marathon, which I should have been proud of. I should be proud of. I guess should is a strong word, but I don't get anything from it. Doing things around the house. I put a new light in the bathroom, and Nora seems very happy with it. And I did what I think was the best I could do to get it installed and have it look like it wasn't installed by, some schmuck who worked at Home Depot and thinks he can get stuff done. And to me, it looks like some schmuck put it up who works at Home Depot. And I try, and I want to say, hey, this is good, or this is valued or valuable. But, intellectually I can tell myself that, but it's never emotionally, never actually that way to me. It doesn't stay with me that way, anything. So I'm trying to figure out different ways to explain this, because I guess now that I've come out of the closet of sorts about my podcast, there may be more folks listening who don't understand what it feels like having clinical depression, major depressive disorder, or dysthymia. Again, I still haven't looked up how to say that. So let me try to explain it this way. So, we've all fallen in love, right? We've all, some of us many, many times, some of us once or twice, whatever. And when you're kind of in that stage, right, you go out on a date and wow, they seem nice, and another one, and wow, this is great. Next thing you know, you just want to see them all the time, right? And during that time, the other person just is, oh my gosh, they're so wonderful. And you just, wow, stars in your eyes when you look at them. And a lot of the times it's not that you kind of accept the flaws in the other person. It's rather that you just don't see them, like you have blinders on, kind of during that early stage of infatuation, of getting to know someone, right? You meet somebody, they're wonderful, but I don't know, they're kind of a slob while they eat, and they make messes. And they finish, and they've got, ketchup and wine. I don't know, would you have wine with something you eat ketchup with? I don't know. But, ketchup stains and wine stains on their shirt or their blouse or whatever. But it's just cute, right? Because, oh, God, they're so wonderful. That's cute. And it's those, monoamines, the dopamine or epinephrine, the serotonin, they're kind of running crazy in your brain, right? And they're what's running the show. And it's great. And oh my gosh, it feels wonderful, right? You're just happy all the time. And, if you're, a well-balanced person, and not of someone, who, like I suspect now, with borderline personality disorder. So when they're away, you just think, oh my gosh, everything's wonderful about the time you spent, and you're looking forward to the time you spend again. Everything's great. That's the opposite of every single day of my life. In my depressed mind, and what seems to be a common theme for, most stories I've read from people who have depression, articles that I've read describing depression from, researchers and doctors and therapists, is that we don't have those experiences. And, some folks it's temporary, and some folks it's temporary and just overwhelming. Sometimes it happens every day, constantly. And it seems to me I fall into that, and let's talk about the, the chemicals in the brain, right? The dopamine, which is the chemical that kind of affects the reward center. It affects the pleasure center of your brain. And I've got I don't want to get into it a lot right now, but look back to the show I did, 2, 3, 4 shows ago about how I don't feel pleasure. And I guess I need to spend more time talking about these things, to kind of work it out in my head and also to explain it better. But just look back to that show as a kind of an example of, dopamine not doing its thing for me. Norepinephrine, otherwise known as adrenaline. Think about, there was a show I did a couple months ago, I think, where I had been driving on the highway on my way home from seeing my girls. And there was a thing and whatever, and the 2 cars in front of me slammed on their brakes, and we had been going 55, and now we're going 0 in about 3 seconds. What should have been a stressful, instantaneously stressful situation could have been, quite a considerable accident, but there wasn't. But I had no response to that, right? I mean, I hit the brakes because, I didn't want to go through, nobody wants to get in an accident. But it was remarkable to me how I didn't feel any different. I didn't have that kind of thump, 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 thump with the heart and everything. And serotonin is, classical depression descriptor, right? So I won't kind of go into that too much. But, think about that falling in love stage, and then think about what it would feel like to have the opposite of that all the time. And not kind of a random Sunday afternoon, not, whatever, you're getting older and you feel a little creakier today, so you don't kind of get up and go do things, or, in the back of your head, there's 100 things to do around the house, or maybe a backlog of, little projects at work, and you just say, oh, geez, if I wasn't so lazy, maybe I'd get to those. It's not that. It's everything. It's from the moment your eyes wake up in the morning and the day just looks so daunting and terrible and awful, in spite of the fact that intellectually maybe that it's not. And that's the baseline, is what it feels like. And then when kind of the depression is worse for whatever reason, for stressors, or you forgot to take your medication twice yesterday, or sometimes who knows why. And on those days, it feels insurmountable. Every little thing, every, I won't say every breath because that's a little too melodramatic, but for some people it can be. Every kind of waking moment is a battle, a struggle to find your way through, to find some meaning, to find some reason to make it to the next moment. And it feels like you won't win. And it feels like, why do you even bother? Because if I make it through today, tomorrow's going to be just like today. And if I make it through tomorrow, the next day, and all of next week, and all of next month. And those are the days when it's really, really, really hard to find any way out, to feel like there's going to be a better day. Yeah. And those are the days that, right now, my day-to-day experience is to not get to those days. And if I could go a week without one of those days, then great. I'm going to go for a month. If I can go for a month without one of those days, then maybe I'll feel confident enough to start looking towards days better than today. But it's scary. It's frightening. It's not anything that I wish anybody would have to feel or go through, but it's real. And yeah, I don't know. Nameless brother-in-law, I hope you don't take it that I went through all this trying to argue with you or say, hey, you're wrong, or hey, you're insensitive. Nothing like that. I totally get it. I'm just trying to get my head around some of it more myself, and I appreciate those kind of comments. So thank you. I actually got in touch with a guy who has a blog, and I need to ask him if I can share it. But it turns out he's local here in the Minnesota area. And I asked him to listen to the show and give me some feedback. And he said, he came back with me. So I listened to part of one show and it sounds really good and great. And I went back to him. I said, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. But, that's not the kind of feedback I want. I get some of that, and it feels nice, and it makes me, it's appreciated. But, I want kind of, not challenging, not like come out and say, hey, you big fat butt, just get out and get things going. Not that, but kind of questioning things, or, hey, can you explain this a little bit more? Or, hey, you mentioned this, but I don't get it. Or, even, what I would love is kind of, hey, you said this today, 3 weeks ago, you said this, what's going on? And, whatever. Thanks, nameless brother-in-law, for the feedback. I honestly do appreciate it. But I think that's gone on far enough. It's probably about good for a show. The kids are going to be home soon, so it's going to get noisy. And yeah, so thanks everybody for listening. I so very much appreciate it. If you get a chance and you have the time and the energy, if you go to iTunes or Google Play or wherever you download the show from, and just give me a rating, a review, whatever, give me, if you think someone else might want to listen to the show or might benefit from the show, give me a 5-star, 4-star rating, whatever the highest is, so that I can, start populating up on searches for depression or mental illness, and more folks might find the show and hopefully get a little something out of it. So if you can do that, great. If you can't, just as great too. I appreciate you listening. Thank you. So yeah, till next time, everybody be safe and be well. Thanks. Maybe it was Monday. Wow. There's that life stuff. Yeah, it was Monday.